Hi everyone, thanks so much for joining today's webinar. My name is Lucian, the Marketing Manager here at Cardiolog Analytics. I will go ahead and kick things off. Today's webinar is on simplifying change management with smart internal communication in SharePoint as well as Microsoft Teams. A bit of housekeeping. This webinar is being recorded. If you want to share this with a colleague, we'll go ahead and send this email with the recording after today's session. And of course, if you have any questions, please send them through to the questions box within the GoToWebinar panel. We'll leave some time towards the end for Q&A. You can also connect with us on Twitter with the Twitter handle @Cardiolog. In regards to the agenda for today's webinar, we'll start out with a very short introduction. We'll talk a bit about Cardiolog Analytics and who we are, and then I'll jump straight into today's topic, touching briefly on SharePoint and Teams migration. And then I will go over to our engagement tool and walk you through how you can use advanced internal communication tools to effectively manage change in your organization. Then we'll discuss the process of managing change during your SharePoint or Teams migration. And at the end, we'll be taking some Q&A, so feel free to send your questions throughout the course of the presentation. Brief introduction. Cardiolog Analytics has been around for about 14 years now, since 2005. We are based out of Boston. And over the past 14 years, we've been focused on web analytics designed for SharePoint and now Office 365. Our flagship solution is Cardiolog Analytics, and it's built specifically for internal platforms, including all versions of SharePoint from 2007 to 2016, as well as SharePoint Online and Office 365. And we can also track third-party tools like Yammer and Microsoft Teams and the likes. Our solution is available both on-prem and as a SaaS version based on Power BI. So just a little bit about our vision as a company. We've been working with our customers for over 14 years, and this slide shows our evolution. So our goal is to help our customers constantly improve SharePoint based on how it's being used. So there are three main pillars that we talk to our customers about. The first pillar is monitoring activity, which is tracking the usage within SharePoint or Teams with in-depth intranet analytics, insights, and usage reports. Our customers realized that understanding the usage analytics is often simply not enough, and they also wanted a way to take action based on the insights gained from monitoring their portal usage. So the second is engaging users, asking them what their needs are, what their pain points are, and what's not working for them. This is what we will focus on in our presentation today. And then finally, the most important pillar is enhance. We want to make sure we're constantly improving SharePoint based on those two pillars. The idea is to have actionable metrics which will allow us to constantly make SharePoint better for our users. So the real bottom line of our product is to help customers get more out of tools like SharePoint, Yammer, Teams, and in other words, getting people to use these technologies more. As I've mentioned earlier, here's a brief overview of our various analytics and employee engagement solutions. Our flagship product is Cardiolog Analytics. This is available both as an on-prem and as a SaaS solution. Gamify, a revolutionary SharePoint-based gamification service which encourages users to take action in the portal and ultimately increasing SharePoint adoption. And then finally, we have Cardiolog Engage, a great interactive solution for sending internal communication campaigns across SharePoint and within Microsoft Teams and engaging with your users. With Engage, you can connect with your users to know what their needs are, send reminders, launch surveys, and dig deep to understand how you can improve various aspects of your platform, which I will tell you more about during the presentation. If you are joining us today, you are likely in the process of or have already decided to take the big step of migrating to a new version of SharePoint or moving from Skype to Teams. As daunting as this may seem at first, there are a variety of ways to manage and take control of this process. Each of our three analytics and employee engagement tools can play an important role in your migration. Whether you are moving to a new version of SharePoint, migrating to the cloud, or rolling out Microsoft Teams. The key here is that you can only manage what you measure. So how can we measure the deployment, analyze it, and ensure success throughout all steps of the migration? By leveraging analytics, you can identify KPIs and uncover key insights about your portal usage before, during, and after your migration to make your rollout a success. So why do some technology changes succeed and others fail? Your SharePoint migration might meet all your technical requirements, but there are several critical reasons why a technology deployment might still not be successful. Statistics tell us that 4 out of the 5 top issues are internal. Deploying any new technology requires a change in behavior on the part of the users. Many migrations therefore fail due to a lack of ability to effectively communicate the expected behavior change with your users before, during, and after the deployment. So let's talk change management. What is change management anyway? As the name would suggest, change management is the management of large-scale institutional change at an organization. Large-scale change usually involves altering some important process or system used by the organization. Change management is essential for an organization to stay nimble and adapt to changing circumstances. Large organizations frequently have a difficult time implementing change. For a large organization, even a seemingly simple change can affect how hundreds or thousands of employees work. For any organizational change, like an Office 365 migration, users are the key to realizing the full potential. Only when your users adopt and embrace the new portal can your rollout really be a success. A good change management strategy is necessary, not only to drive user adoption to its highest potential, but also to avoid a rough transition, which would cost the organization resources and worker productivity. In the past, many large businesses were forced to dedicate large sums of resources to change management with only mixed results. However, the creation of intelligent engagement software over the last few years has made change management effortless and affordable for enterprises of every size. So whether you are migrating to a new version of SharePoint or Office 365 or rolling out another new technology, you need an effective change management and internal communication plan to drive user adoption to its highest potential. Below are 3 examples of ways that organizations can leverage engagement software for change management. Number 1, look for areas that can be improved. Before change even occurs, engagement software can help management proactively figure out what areas of operations can be improved. This software can offer bidirectional communication, making it easy for employees to have their voices heard. The best way to find out what areas of an organization can be improved is often to ask the people on the front lines of day-to-day operations, and software can streamline this process. This also helps employees feel more personally invested in the change being undertaken. Number 2 is to prompt users to make these changes. Using intelligent software, it's easy to notify employees of impending or current changes and prompt them to take the next steps to implement the change. Users can be sent messages through a wide variety of communication channels, including email, text message, and in-app notifications. These messages can also be targeted at users still using an old version of a website or an old version of software. Notifications can prompt these users to take the next steps, such as reading a document or completing training. And this obviously therefore eases the rollout process and helps keep users informed and engaged during transition periods. This is one of the essential aspects of managing organizational change, since employees who feel like they are being left out of the loop are less likely to adopt changes that management is seeking. And then the last one here, ask for feedback. After a change is implemented, software can make the feedback process effortless. Using the same bidirectional communication method above that I've mentioned, for example, when users visit a new site, they can be sent a desktop notification asking them if they found what they were looking for, or if there were any technical problems with using the site. And this obviously ensures that management has a constant stream of feedback, enabling them to make more informed decisions. If the change is not going as expected, employees have an outlet for voicing their concerns and their comments. So these are just a few of the many ways that engagement software can be used for change management. Cardiolog Engage is one of these third-party engagement tools that can make change management a breeze for any organization and is available as either on-prem or SaaS, and also drives user adoption to its highest potential. So now let's hop into a live demo of Cardiolog Engage, and I will then show you in action how it can help you manage change and communicate with your employees during all stages of your migration to improve adoption of your new portal or platform. Using Cardiolog Engage's smart internal communication tools to run awareness and training campaigns, to manage your SharePoint or Teams migration can save vital time whilst increasing clarity and excitement among your employees. You can quickly and easily automate campaigns to articulate expectations, raise awareness, encourage adoption, and provide the right help to the right people when they need it. So incorporating these powerful communication strategies to quickly and easily get your employees up to speed during your rollout will make training more effective, increase productivity, improve employee satisfaction, and make your change management plan a success. So let me show you exactly how. Cardiolog Engage is a unique solution that gives further value to our Microsoft customers. So for example, if some users in the organization don't use Microsoft Teams yet, they might not know how they can use Teams to be more productive and collaborative. So then you use Cardiolog Engage to generate excitement or to target them and help them get started. Engage can also be used to create awareness about the new version of SharePoint or Microsoft Teams and increase productivity within these portals. Or so as an example, we found out that our new Teams platform is not being accessed by everyone. So we can create a campaign here and actually promote Microsoft Teams. So I can tell everyone about Teams, how great it is for collaboration, and that they can actually have access to it. Or for SharePoint, perhaps we can ask users for feedback. What's missing for them? How can we improve their experience in SharePoint? Maybe give them more training on a specific feature or metric. So when you are creating a campaign, you can use one of these pre-canned campaigns, or you can create a campaign from scratch by clicking skip. And there are a few steps to create these campaigns. Step one is going to be the audience. Who do you want to engage with inside the organization? Do you want to maybe engage with everyone in the company or the organization? You can send a message to everyone. You can tell them in SharePoint that they have access to the Microsoft Teams platform already. If we have already launched Teams, and in the data, we found out that a specific team, or in SharePoint, a specific department is not very active, then let's create a campaign and target only those team members. We show you for Teams, you can Here are the teams. Or, because we track all users, I won't target everyone. I will target only the inactives, the folks who are inactive and did not interact with Teams or SharePoint ever, or for more than 30 days, whatever the amount of time you want to say. Or we can target the newbies. The newbies are the users who did not view a specific document, for example, for, let's say, 30 days. Or we can even create a group, and you can include or exclude a specific team in Teams or department in SharePoint. So that is the audience, who you want to connect with. The next step is going to be how you want to engage with them or interact with them. So, for example, in Teams, you can send them a chat right within the Teams platform. You can ask them for feedback. You can ask, for example, what's missing for you? How can we improve your experience in Teams or SharePoint for that matter? So a chat within Teams is a great way to tell them about updates. You can say, check out the new tab or new feature in Teams, or for SharePoint, please read the new CEO blog post, or tell them about changes to a page, tell them a site has been moved or migrated, or to check out the new HR site in SharePoint. These are some great ways to interact right here within the Teams platform or within the SharePoint platform. If I'm using SharePoint and I don't use Teams, then maybe show me a pop-up in SharePoint reminding me that I have access to Microsoft Teams so that I will start using it. So in this case, a header and a footer are great to tell them about new content. You can say, check out new features in Teams, for example. With Cardiolog Engage, you can automatically trigger a message bar to pop up in SharePoint for those folks who did not yet read the CEO's blog post about the upcoming migration from Skype to Teams, for example. Or you can tell them about the migration to the new version of SharePoint. Or you can send them a pop-up saying, we've noticed you haven't checked out Teams, here's a link. But for people who don't actually access things like SharePoint or Teams, and they won't get the chats in Teams or the pop-ups in SharePoint, they obviously won't see any of these messages. So for them, maybe a quick email. It could be a very targeted email to members of a specific department in SharePoint or a specific team in Teams. You can email them and say, we are migrating. But what if you have employees who don't regularly check email or who simply ignore the email campaign? Or if they are maybe out in the field all day visiting with customers, maybe send them a quick text message. For example, if members from a specific team are inactive or a specific department in SharePoint are inactive, just send them a quick text message with a link back to Teams or back to SharePoint where we shared or uploaded some new collateral for a specific team. So this tool is designed to drive adoption and consumption of those platforms. So step one would be, in the data I found out that a specific team or a specific team member isn't very active within Teams or SharePoint. And step two is the action. I'm going to drive their consumption and adoption by actually interacting with those orphaned users. So let's go over to the next step. That will be the design of the campaign. So yeah, I can say check out the new HR site, or please check out the updated event spreadsheet before the meeting at 3 o'clock. So the idea is that we can really get a lot more data from the users besides just analytics, where again, the goal is to get that feedback and create a better collaboration for the user so they'll use it more and raise their consumption of technologies such as SharePoint and Microsoft Teams. So that is really the bottom line of this tool. Cardiolog Engage is also a great tool to use to communicate with your users during the training process. Another example would be traditional emails that we are sending employees. So instead of sending them an email inviting them to an event, I can send them a quick chat in Teams, and you can have people RSVP to that event, and you can also have one campaign follow another. So for those who clicked on maybe, send them another chat tomorrow asking them to click on yes or no. And those who said that they want to attend the event, they'll get a text message before the event with a reminder about the event. So the call to actions within a chat on Teams can either be no call to action, they can confirm, RSVP like I've explained, or it can even be an open question. And then the last step here is going to be the trigger. You can send out the messages immediately after launching the campaign. You can schedule the campaign, so messages will be sent at a specific date and time, or you can trigger it based on the interaction with the technology, whether that's SharePoint or Teams. For example, if someone is viewing a specific page for more than 10 seconds, this is when the message will be sent. So basically, with Engage, you are asking the right question at the right time to the right user to give us the best feedback or to guide them or prompt them in the best possible way to be more productive within SharePoint or within Microsoft Teams. And it only takes 60 seconds to trigger the campaign. So the idea is to constantly know what's going on in order to improve the drive of consumption and adoption in tools such as SharePoint or Teams. Now that you have seen some examples of how to use Cardiolog Engage to manage change and communicate with your employees during all stages of your migration to improve adoption, let's talk about the stages of change management. The goal of change management is to accelerate acceptance. All organizational change comes down to individuals adopting change. That is why we send messages to individuals, to teams. We are targeting. At each stage of this process, internal communication tools are critical to a successful SharePoint or Teams migration. From keeping your employees in the loop to raising awareness, articulating expectations, training, reinforcing the new expected behavior change, and measuring user adoption and satisfaction. I'll walk you through these 4 stages and how you can leverage internal communication tools as part of your change management strategy. So stage 1, receiving the news or change. This is where reality hits and leads to shock or denial. You can combat this response with communication and information. Details and clarity about what is happening and its direct effects are useful. You need to inform, involve, and inspire your users in order to see the expected behavior change required of a new technology deployment. So keeping your employees in the loop and making them feel heard will result in a much higher adoption rate. If you use multiple channels in your awareness campaign to communicate the same message, you'll get a much stronger response and higher adoption from your end users. So email is the most common communication channel, but there are many other creative ways you can get in touch with your employees besides the traditional inbox. You could host a kickoff event and announce your company's plans to migrate to a new version of SharePoint or rolling out Teams. And this gives your employees a chance to ask questions in person. You can also send a variety of messages within SharePoint to reiterate the upcoming changes, save vital time, and increase clarity and excitement in the lead up to your rollout. Stage 2 is the reaction to the news or change. Common emotions that people experience are, for example, resentment, anger, concern, frustration. Stage 2 is the make or break stage for change. Without proper support, anger intensifies and energy and morale continue to suffer, and this can ultimately derail the effort altogether. However, obtaining adequate support with information and solutions for pain points can prevent morale from dipping so low and accelerate the overall process. So here you should leverage Engage to send notifications continually to encourage people to come back and use the technology more often. Stage 3. With the support provided in the previous stage, exploration is now possible. However, direction, guidance, and training are needed to facilitate and encourage this. For example, building a solid foundation through positive experiences and exposure to the new way leads to acceptance. Cardiolog Engage is a great tool to use to communicate with your users during the training process. For example, you can automate pop-ups during a series of training videos, and after finishing the first video, trigger a pop-up directing them to watch the next video. When they finish the training video series, trigger a pop-up and an email congratulating them on completing their training. Offer a variety of training options tailored to your employees' needs, learning styles, and preferred communication channels. Some users will pick up the new work habits quickly. Others will require additional training to reinforce the new ways you want them to work in the new portal or platform. You should personalize your internal communication during your training based off the individual characteristics of your users. Stage 4 is acceptance and adoption. The change should become natural now. However, it is still important to receive encouragement and praise for adopting the change, as well as for the hard work that was put forth. This is also the stage when adoption rates amongst your users should be measured by measuring their usage and satisfaction. Throughout the rollout, it's important to offer employees a way to ask questions or give feedback to the rollout team. Give them a chance to communicate with you about what's working well and barriers they've encountered during the training process. It's critical to ask your users for their feedback after they have completed the training so you can modify your approach and update and improve your training. Asking for feedback gives your employees a voice and makes them feel heard and their opinions considered. Cardiolog Engage is a great tool to use for feedback about the training process during your migration. You can quickly and easily automate messages to your users during your migration to collect feedback and assess user satisfaction. For example, you could trigger quick polls to take the pulse of your user satisfaction to gather data about their knowledge, or you can automate a survey to offer employees a way to ask questions or give feedback about what can be improved on the new site. Or you could trigger a pop-up in SharePoint to ask users if they found what they were looking for to improve usability of the new site. In Cardiolog Engage is a quick and easy to customize your communication with your users to ask people if the training has increased their understanding, to ask for feedback on topics to provide additional training about. That is the end of the presentation. Please do send us any questions you may have in the GoToWebinar questions box. I see I have a question from Amy. Amy is asking, what is the licensing for this? So this is a SaaS platform, a yearly subscription based on the number of users being tracked. I'd be happy to send you a link to the pricing page and get you additional information once we know how many additional users you want to track and target with these tools. Another question from Philip. Philip wants to know if we can use it for SharePoint Online. So yes, Philip, absolutely. You can use this tool with SharePoint on-prem as well as with SharePoint Online. So within Office 365, we track SharePoint and Yammer. In our roadmaps, we will soon be releasing also tracking capabilities for OneDrive, and we can get you a link to our roadmap after the call as well. Lorraine sent a question asking, can we target different departments in SharePoint? Yes, so the one thing Cardiolog does is connect to SharePoint profiles, so you can track any region, department, branch, job title, and really any other details you use to segment your users and leverage those properties in the analytics. I have another question. It's from Sarah. Sarah wants to know, is deployment complicated and how long does it take? So what's neat about this tool is that it's designed for SharePoint and for Teams, so there's no need for customization when you want to deploy. With our setup wizard, you can get it up and running within an hour and already start to collect data. I have time for one more question this morning. I'll wait a couple of seconds to see if anyone else submits any questions. I have a question from Marcus. How should we go about to try it out? So Marcus, we have a trial as well as proof of concept for people who want a longer evaluation or to try more environments and features. We can definitely share more information about what's included in each. I'm going to wrap up our session today. I just saw one more question come through. I will answer that directly. And just as a reminder, we have recorded this webinar and we'll be sending out a recording tomorrow for you to share with your colleagues who were unable to attend. And we invite you to visit us at cardiologanalytics.com or to book a free demo for Cardiolog Analytics. You can always tweet us at Cardiolog, and for more information and helpful tips, you can check out our blog at blog.cardiologanalytics.com. For more information, you can contact us at info@cardiologanalytics.com. Just a very big thanks to everyone who joined us today and to everyone who sent in their questions. And if I did not get to your question, I promise I will answer it really, really soon. Have a good rest of your day. Bye.